How's it going, traders? Papa Wall Street back with another weekly focus list. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Let's get into it. Today we're going to have 10 names that we're going to be watching for next week. Of course, prior week watch lists are still active. Sometimes they carry over to the next week. Sometimes they don't. This week I found 17 charts that looked pretty good. So there's an additional 7 names that I'm not going to go over for this particular video, but I will post those charts nonetheless. So first things first, up first is AER. So let's take a look. So we have just one little programming note. I am going back to my EMA cloud. So the cloud on the top side is going to be your 10 EMA, and on the bottom side is going to be your 21 EMA. And I just use the cloud just for an aesthetic thing. It tends to work pretty well. You can see here the cloud showing as resistance before it flips. I like the flip. You'll notice I'll start marking the 1021 cloud flip. It tends to be a good area to watch for a potential breakout entry, and you can see here that's what it was. So for this one, what I'm watching for AER, you've got a slingshot squeeze setting up. You've got a 1 month base off of the EMA cloud. We did have a breakout on Friday. We stopped right at the fib cluster around 126, or excuse me, the fib extension at 126, and we do have some fib cluster targets above. First upside target is going to be 130, 131. Second cluster is going to be 138 to 139. So you can see we have a volume shelf being built out. One thing you could watch for, maybe a bit of a pullback here to the cloud. That would be an excellent area to get a potential entry off of, or just watch for a break over the Friday high. All right, next one up is AI. So we talked about this one last week, and you can see that we are entering the gap already. All right, so that's good. It's a new multi-month high since August 4th. I like these gap plays because they tend to accelerate through the gap. Gap fills right at around 22.10. So, and also the swing high anchored VWAP, you could see resistance here the beginning or the end of the prior week. And then last week on Friday, we broke through that. So what I would watch for, potential back test near 1833 to 1864. If you get that back test and bounce, that could be a good area using 1833 as your stop loss. Now, squeeze is already fired, at least on the daily chart, so I don't think we're going to have that much upside momentum, fast momentum, not to say we're not going to have no momentum, but we did put in a low and a higher low, and we did have an EMA flip on Wednesday into Thursday. So this one could be just getting going. Again, I don't like to chase. I like to wait for the pullback before entering any trade. All right, next one is BRKB. That is Berkshire Hathaway. And just something to note that we will come into earnings season in just a couple of weeks. And financial institutions, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, BRB, they're setting up, I think, for a move higher. And, what I tend to see, in the past is that when the financial institutions start running, it's more of a rotation into banks and then a rotation back into tech. So in this case, we had a high volume candle. We had the 1021 moving average flip. We had a push up to 506. We had a rejection back into the cloud, and now we have a series of higher lows. This is forming an ascending triangle. I think an early entry can be had here at 502.67 with an add on over 506.86 and targeting this fib cluster up above at 519 to 523. This one also has a slingshot squeeze setting up, so we could have some good momentum here if we do